Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you join us tonight. We're super excited because this is going to be a very special evening tonight. We have two of our favorite presenters sharing tonight, and you're going to hear just a little bit of their background in a minute. But I just want to let you know that you're going to hear some information tonight that is truly life changing. We're going to learn about something new about our bodies and how we can take control of our health just more efficiently, more powerfully through pathways that God created called activation. And it has really been so beneficial to millions of people, actually. So I'm excited that you're going to learn about it. And with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Debbie Packard, sweet Debbie Packard. She's a great team leader here in our company, and she is going to introduce our guest speakers tonight. So, Debbie, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Julie. It really is an honor for me to introduce David and Lena. They have been very instrumental in my involvement with LifeVantage and don't live too far away. So we feel like I can count them as true friends. David and Lena Misener live in Belton, Missouri, and recently celebrated 32 years of marriage. They have 4 adult children, 2 boys and 2 girls, and those 2 daughters, the younger 2, are still at home, though they have both graduated from high school. Together, the Misener family has developed Beulah Youth Ranch, which served over 50 children last year through Christian summer camps, horsemanship lessons, and therapy programs. They also breed, train, show, and sell their Arabian horses as a family business. Lena's background in science includes a Master of Science degree in microbiology with a focus on molecular genetics.
Debbie's frozen, I think.
I think too that she's frozen. Did she miss anything that
That's fine. We're ready to rock and roll.
Okay, all right. We'll turn the time over to you, my friend.
So I'm gonna start, and just so you guys know, this business is for busy people. It's not for people that have nothing to do and now they can do network marketing. It's for busy people. So I saw my wife in passing a couple of times today. She's been busy. She's getting ready for a new school year. I just finished with a closing on a house. Right after this, I've got to go make sure my tenants are okay and on schedule for some things like rent. And then, so honey, do you know how to turn off your screen share until you're ready? Can't hear you. You're on mute.
You want to share first?
No, yes, I'll share first and then I'll pass it off to you and then you can share the screen.
Okay.
There we go. Thanks. Hey, Julie, thank you so much. An honor to be on tonight. And Debbie, thank you so much. Love you, love your team, love the heart that you give to your team. And Jody Russell is on from Georgia, and she just enrolled her son, one of her sons, in Hilton Head, whom I just met, he and his wife and his in-laws and their friends, just a couple of weeks ago while I was down there. So excited to be here tonight and share. We heard about this about 9 years ago. A friend of mine who was a financial counselor of mine at the time, he asked me to go to a meeting with him. I smelled network marketing right away. The radars were going off, and I just looked at him and I said, brother, I love you and I trust you, but I thought you were smarter than this to get into network marketing. He said, just come in and check it out. So I went, and he was smart. We drove together there to make sure that I would go. And I quickly realized that I was the only prospective guest in the room. Everybody else was a distributor. But I told him beforehand, I said, if this gets weird or awkward, I am walking out. I don't care if it looks crazy or not. I'll get up in the middle of a presentation. I'll just walk out if it gets weird. But I listened to a 70-year-old woman at the time. She was sharing how she had bad knees, a bad back, and a bad brain. and how she was scheduled for spinal surgery. Her kids were hiding their keys at night. And because she was starting and she was just praying, Lord, I don't let me lose my mind. And her chiropractor gave her a little yellow pill, and she got on it. And after a few days, her knee started to feel better. After a couple of weeks, her back was feeling so much better that they canceled the spine surgery. And then she said after a few months, it was like the fog lifted from her brain and God started to rewire her mind back together again. She's just finishing up her second book. She's sharp as a tack. Love that woman. Jackie Shepard, you know her. What an amazing woman. And I absolutely believed her because she had the grandma and Sunday school teacher anointing all over her. I absolutely believed that what she was telling us was the truth. But I didn't necessarily think that it was going to generalize to the population. And then she showed us the ABC primetime video, which if you've not seen that, it is powerful. The more times you watch that, the higher your rank is going to go. And because you're showing it to other people, hopefully with them in some setting. And after I saw our product outperform the clinical averages and half the time on national television, I was like, I want that stuff in my body now, in my wife's body, in my kids. You know, I want to get on this stuff. And then she started to share about the business, and she shared the average monthly income for the rank she was at. And anybody can throw up numbers, but because we're traded on the NASDAQ stock exchange, all of our numbers are subject to the scrutiny of the Security and Exchange Commission. If we get those numbers wrong, somebody's getting fired, the company's going under, or people are going to jail, depending on the severity. And so when she showed me the average monthly income for the rank she was at the time, I was like, man, if this old woman can do this well, I'm all in. And I said, listen, thank you so much. I'm going to enroll real quick. I need to leave. I want to put my kids to bed and read them stories. But my friend that brought me there, he wasn't even enrolled. So he had to enroll first, and then I could enroll. And then I went home, and then I figured it out. And I think it was the next day I got a phone call. I was in the parking lot of a Taco Bell. Confession, I had a bean burrito. That's all I eat there. The other stuff is trash. Bean burrito is not the best either. But anyways, I remember I was in my pickup truck. I got a phone call from Pennsylvania. And it was this woman that I'd never heard of before. She said, "Hi, I'm Julie White. Just wanted to welcome you to our team." And I remember that. I can remember clearly. I was parked. I remember exactly how I was parked and remember receiving that phone call. And those moments changed my life because I said yes, because I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't have it all understood. And God took something that I thought was foolish and he blew me away. I thought network marketing was for preachers who couldn't preach and who couldn't make it and they had to do something else. And God has just, he's just blown my understanding the way that he typically does. We think we have things figured out, and then God comes in and does a sneaky on us. And it has been incredible to work with the amazing people, many of whom you see on this screen right now. And I guarantee you, every single one, I know a few of their backstories, and these people are powerful in their callings, in the way they're living their lives, and the choices that they're making now to live out the full expression of the calling that God has for them, because he knows the plans he has for us, not to harm us, but to give us hope and a future and prosperity in Jesus' name. And this is one of the vehicles that he's been using for us to experience his blessings and to also be a part of other people's blessings as well. And so I came home from that meeting, and my wife, Lena, she wanted to know how it went. And I was a little evasive because I was embarrassed that I had joined a network marketing company. And I showed her the ABC primetime. She said, "I want to see the science." And so she set about a 4-hour journey that evening to try to prove her husband was a fool for getting into this. And she woke me up the next morning and she said, "David, I've never seen this much solid science from reputable institutions on an all-natural product before." And so with that, I want to share my wife with you. She's amazing. I love geeking out to the science behind our products because that's what sets us apart from other network marketing companies who have great products in many respects, but no one has this kind of ethics that I've seen and the solid science behind our products. And we have truly category changing and creating products. She's going to share a little bit about the new study with our liquid collagen and Nrf2 powerhouse. There you go, baby. It's all yours.
All right. Thank you, David. Trying to get my share screen up now with, hold on, did I do the wrong one? Did I do the right one?
Looks good. Oh,
Okay, good.
there you go.
All right. Well, I am so happy to be sharing this with you today. And like my husband said, we are so excited to be a part of this company. It's a company that we're proud of because every single product they have is based in solid science. It's not just the newest fad. It's not just, what people are demanding out there, thinking that they want. It's really truly quality products that are based in science, and it's like every single product that they have is just a little bit above what you can find out there, even if there is something similar and comparable to it. But they did do this new study where, because we were all introduced to True Science liquid collagen last year, and many of us are just blown away by the results. I mean, I know in my own skin, in my own body, we have seen changes. And now we know, and something that we've all suspected is that our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer that we've been taking alongside this, because we started with the Protandim, taking that 9 years ago. When we came into the company, there was just the Protandim Nrf2. There was True Science for the skin, the anti-aging cream, and there was Pet Tandem, which was the dog version of the Protandim Nrf2, because people were giving it to their dogs and it was working, so they made a dog product. So we've seen all of these products come in, and they are all amazing, and they've all been wonderful, wonderful. But this one is a new game changer, and we have seen our sales going crazy because people see pictures of the changes. And if you haven't seen these pictures, you need to get on to, whoever invited you to this meeting, you need to get onto their Facebook page or wherever it is that they're sharing things about the products. Look at the pictures, because we're seeing drastic results in a very short period of time. And I'm going to tell you why we're seeing those drastic changes, because now we have the science to show what was happening. And so this study that they did was a clinical study. It was not a peer-reviewed study that's been published, but it is a clinical study. But they were very, very scientific with it. And what they have published on our web page is very clear what they were doing to be able to have good controls and good science in doing this study. And so the whole purpose of the study was to evaluate the benefits of our liquid collagen, whether it was alone or in combination with our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer, because this is what we were suspecting, is that really it's the combination of these two that's giving us these drastic results. And so it's on the skin appearance and in helping fibroblast cells recover from a constant stress cycle and to get back to more optimal function. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what this experiment was and why they designed it the way that they did. So this was an experiment that was done in a cell culture, where it was done in a petri dish. So it was not in vivo. It was in vitro. And so these were the cells that they chose to use were fibroblasts, and because they chose these, because these are the cells that secrete collagen all over your body. Whether it's your organs, whether it's your vascular system, your skin, you have to have fibroblasts, because these are the cells that are contributing to the formation of your connective tissue, all of your supports, of your connections between your organs, and everything in your body is very dependent on these fibroblasts. But they're also secreting other enzymes, proteins, and so forth that do a lot of other signaling, which we're going to find out. But we right now, they chose these because these are our main collagen protein producers. And then the way that they're going to be able to tell what was being produced was that they were using a method called mRNA sequencing. And M stands for messenger. And so this was to discover more about which genes in the fibroblasts were being expressed, meaning they were being turned on, or suppressed, being switched off. And at different times, and this happens in different types of cells differently, but they were looking for this specifically in these fibroblasts. So just to remind you some basic biology, within the cell, every cell, we have a nucleus with our DNA, which is our blueprint for our body. All the cells in your body have the exact same DNA, but depending on the type of cell that it is, different genes within their DNA will be expressed or suppressed, turned on or turned off. And there's a lot of cell signaling that can happen to be able to do that, which is a lot of what our company is about, is nutrigenomics, where we have nutrients that are actually turning on and turning off specific genes in our bodies. It's an amazing science. So the DNA, when it gets turned on, it will have a little section of the gene that is read and copied to become the messenger RNA. And the messenger RNA takes that message out of the nucleus to a ribosome, and that's where it's sequenced into a protein. And the protein is what's active, whether it becomes a collagen or whether it becomes an enzyme. It can be lots of different types of proteins that do things within the body and build things within the body. So what they were after looking at was the level of gene expression. And so they had to do a number of fine tuning to be able to figure out exactly what these fibroblasts were doing when they were exposed to Protandim and or our liquid collagen. And so first they had to do a dose finding study where they were using the Protandim and the liquid collagen and controls to figure out how much they would need to know how to tell what's happening within the fibroblast. And then they did a verification of that dosing and then the timing of the gene expression. So they had to know exactly how much time they had to let these cells sit in these solutions in order to be able to verify what was going on with the gene expression. So there was a lot of experimentation that went on first before they finally got to the really answer to what was going on. That's called the global gene expression study. And this is when they did the messenger RNA sequencing. And what they would do is they would have the cells and they would be able to isolate just the messenger RNA and be able to amplify that back into DNA so that they can then tell what genes were actually being expressed. So this is what happened. So the first part of the study was very expected. This was the fibroblast with just the Protandim Nrf2 synergizer. And we all know that this opens up the Nrf2 pathway. It's also opening up some nuclear events that are mediated by this Nrf2 pathway, and the KEAP1 pathway. So it's like a cascade effect once it gets going. And then one of the really cool ones that I've been reading a little bit more about is this antioxidant response element. This is the Nrf2 interaction with the promoter region of the DNA. And so that was really cool. So they're telling us very specifically in this study that, which genes were open up. So like the Nrf2 pathway, this is your one that's going to be, controlling your oxidative stress and activating those genes. And so it's a total of 97 genes there that are activated. With the nuclear events, that's a total of 77 genes that are directly activating in the molecule or in the nucleus, so that it's going to be producing these genes, actively activating these genes. And so then the KEAP2 pathway, this is the one that is kept in an inactive state in the cytoplasm, but it's also influenced by 98 genes. And then that ARE, the antioxidant response element, that is 22 genes influenced in that pathway. So this is something we already knew, that we expected that. We've had over 30 studies now with Nrf2 synergizer. And so this is just further proof that it's actually doing what it has always done in every mammal. So the next part of the study was to look at just the collagen on the fibroblast, and what is that doing? And so what we see is that we have this reactome cytokine signaling in the immune system, where we have the cytokine pathways and they're signaling in the immune system. And so it's influencing 522 genes in these cytokine pathways, which is like, wow, that's really cool. And because that's immune system, it has nothing to do with really the collagen formation or the mediation of collagen. And so it's like all of a sudden we're talking about our immune system and not necessarily our structural system of the parts of our body. And so it continues where we have cytokine mediated signaling pathway with 294 genes, also cytokines binding to receptors on the surface of a cell. And then another receptor signaling pathway influencing 47 genes, also with a interleukin being able to influence that. And so then we also have another receptor signaling pathway with, these are like toll-like receptors that play a crucial role in the innate immune system and the cellular stress response. So this is the signals that are telling your body to stay open and active with your immune system or to modulate your immune system. So we have a little bit of a modulating effect, even with just the collagen. Okay, and so then here's the big one. And this one, I actually had to have 3 slides to show you all of the genetic pathways when we have both protandim Nrf2 synergizer and the True Science liquid collagen. And so you can see right at the beginning, we have those ones that were in the first table, where we have the Nrf2 pathway, the keep one, and those ARE regulations. So same ones. Again, the same ones, again, where we end up with the cytokines and those other toll receptors, same ones that we saw with the collagen just by itself. But then we start getting a list of those immune response and innate immune system pathways and regulation of the immune system process and signaling by interleukins that weren't there before when we had either one of these by themselves. It's like all of a sudden we've got these two together and we are having some new pathways that are opening up. And so these, I'm going to skip. So these are all descriptions of those pathways again. But what I'm going to do is skip to the new ones. And so this is the immune response, the pathway that's regulating the immune system response to insults. So like if you have a injury or you have a surgery or you have an infection, this is the pathway that it's your main immune response, where your body is saying, okay, well, you need to go to war here. There's an invader, there's been an injury, that we need to help the body. And this is influencing 941 genes. And then we also have our innate immune system, and this is our immune system that is remembering and developing memory. The B cells, the T cells that are going to be helping to get things taken care of quickly. It's like your first defense to be able to get to what you need to have fixed. And so then your regulation of the immune system process. This is where it modulates the immune system so that the immune system is not going crazy. And this is influencing 909 genes. And then we have the signaling by interleukins. Also, this is the cell signaling that's happening between cells saying, hey, I'm injured, I need help. And then they eventually get macrophage or some other cells there into the area to help. And so these are the interleukins that are part of that cell signaling. The combination is influencing 336 genes. So that's pretty amazing. And so this is going back through this again, where we're looking at some of the tables that they have published. This is figure 1 showing the percent change in messenger RNA, so that we're looking at the difference between the collagen by itself and the collagen plus the protandim. And then so these are the genes that code for the proteins in these 3 complexes that are all significantly down-regulated, which is a good thing, because these are the types of the type of responses that can lead to high levels of inflammation. And you don't want that when you're trying to rebuild healthy skin, healthy joints, healthy organs. You really want your body to be in a lower state of inflammation. And so here we have another figure where we're showing, again, comparing, it's a difference in change, a percent in change of just collagen to collagen plus the protandim Nrf2. And here we have, these are cytokines that are beneficial, and we see them being increased, some of them in the over 1,000 or close to 1,300%. I mean, it's really amazing. But a lot of these really good ones being increased in a good way, because these are going to be, they're going to be very good for your immune modulation, to be able to keep your immune system active but in check. So it's not having the cytokine storm that can really cause that inflammation and trouble for a lot of people. Right. And then in figure 3, they have another set of down-regulated unwanted proteins in the innate immune system compared to when it's alone. And so with all of these genes being down-regulated, what we're seeing is a more balanced environment for a healthy immune response to occur. And so this means that your immune system is working optimally and not overexpressive. If anybody's ever had autoimmune or other issues where they're like an infection that just won't go away or something that won't heal, you know what it's like to have an immune system that is just overreactive to the situation. And you want to have that immune system modulated so these things aren't going crazy. So what we were discovering. So with the discovery, what we found is that there were a lot of genes influenced in this. They were enumerating those, I was giving you the little pieces of it, but what we saw when we add those all together is that we're talking about 13,195 genes and 18,671 cellular pathways, because some of the pathways overlap the genes. And so we see redundant genetic expression. So these are what we're influenced in the fibroblasts. So we're not talking about other cells of the body. The other cells of the body are probably influenced in other ways, in other good ways, because these are good nutrients that our body knows what to do when it's there. And that's causing the genetic expression to happen so that the good proteins are upregulated and the bad proteins that we don't need happening downregulated. And so what we see is this, that around 21%, 2,786 of these genes, they're either significantly upregulated or downregulated when these two are together, especially. We saw it in both of them separately, but when they're together, we definitely see it much more. So we have that synergy, which is so exciting. And where we're seeing 17% of the influenced genes are significantly up, regulated 195 genes, or down-regulated 223. So a down-regulation is not a bad thing. Remember, that's a good thing, because sometimes you don't want some of these proteins to just be proliferating. That's what they call that cytokine storm that can cause people so many troubles in their healing. And so our synergistic effects, what we're seeing in these tables is that we have these Nrf2 antioxidant pathways in the fibroblasts. They're doing what they're designed to do. And then the liquid collagen is affecting the immune modulatory pathways and other pathways associated with collagen strand production and assembly, the cross-linking so that we can have good connective tissues building. My husband was just showing me this picture of somebody's stomach after childbirth, and how loose all of that stomach tissue is. And she was taking the collagen and the Nrf2, and she saw her connective tissue rebuilding, which is why it was all tightening up and firming up. And so over time, that's what we're seeing with everybody who takes this, is that we're getting down to cellular health so that these fibroblasts can be producing the collagen they need, but they're producing it in an environment that's not inflammatory, where the immune system is modulated. And we're seeing it. I think that's why it works so well. So with the combination of these two, we're seeing the synergistic of the activating and deactivating the cellular response pathways. Then these stress response pathways are all part of our innate immune system response. They're normal. We want to have that stress response because it is protecting us. But what we want to see is that it's not overkill, and that it's it's modulated. And so that's what we're seeing when we have this synergistic the synergistic relationship with our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer and our True Science Liquid Collagen. And when we have that, we're seeing some amazing results. We've all seen it, those of us who have been on it for over a year. And that is why. And so we are still in a mode where we're still keeping the prices down, honestly. When I have looked at other comparable liquid collagens that have very small peptides, we're priced very moderately, and people will sometimes balk at this price. But what I tell them is that I consider this part of my grocery bill, because I'm certainly not eating fish every day. And fish would is the proteins that we're using for this, and that is would be some of the health benefits from this. I'm also taking our omega-3 product, which has omega-3 and omega-7. I feel like those things I'm getting are a part of my grocery bill, really. And so when I think of it like that, it's not as much, because we do pay a lot to eat, and we need to eat very well. And I live in the Midwest. Our quality of fish is not that great. Our selection is not that great. But I do know that I can take this every day and be able to activate my body's systems to be able to rebuild my collagen and be able to support my overall cellular health. So it's worth it for us. So thank you so much for your time. And I encourage you to get with whoever invited you to the meeting to order this today.
Awesome, baby. That was so, so good. Hey, I just want to, especially if you're new, I do not want you to ever feel like you need to go into this kind of level of depth, especially with a new prospect. I absolutely love when Lena teaches this stuff. I love learning what's going on physiologically within my body after having taken these products. We've been on them for 9 years, the Nrf2 for 9 years since we got in, and neither of us are on medications. Our children are not on medications. I haven't seen a physician in 15 years. I probably should, but glad for physicians, but really glad I don't have to go see them. But so I want to encourage you, you do not have to learn this stuff in order to teach it. Learn it for your own benefit. And, as we digest this material more, we'll be able to kind of condense it down so that you can quickly help somebody understand how to do this. I remember somebody said it's like, it's like the little boy who cried wolf constantly in your body, and pretty soon, there's a deleterious effect upon the body, of course. So thank you so much for coming on, Julie. Debbie, is there anything else we'd like to cover?
I just want to say thank you so much. That was amazing. And I understand what you're saying, David, but I love to hear your wife sharing the science. She's such an expert in health and science. And I just love to hear all those details. You're right, though. Sometimes when we're talking to people, we say something like, well, the Protandim Nrf2 is great by itself. The collagen is great by itself also, but together, they are so much more powerful. So we can put it simply when we're sharing, but we just love those details and Lena's understanding and her ability to just communicate it to us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Do you have some time for Q&A? Lena, would you have time for Q&A or?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and we will do some Q&A.